Hello, this is Tom Frisinger, and the title of my Week 5 major project presentation is The Tale of Two Leaders, Transactional and Transformational Leadership. This project is for LDRS 7433, Situational Transformational Leadership at Southeastern University. As previously stated, this is a tale of two leaders who worked for me. They were school administrators while I was the school superintendent. I've changed their names for anonymity and professionalism. Both of these leaders worked for me as classroom teachers for many years, and then as campus consultants prior to taking the position as school administrator. The first leader was not a member of the church where I am a lead pastor. Our first tale is that of a transactional leader. She was one of my former school administrators. A fantastic definition of transactional leadership is found in Bass 1990, Bass 2008, as well as a combination of Burns 1978. It is, transactional leadership is based on the leader-follower relationship founded on the principle of leader-follower exchange, where a leader responds to an employee through three components: contingent rewards, CR, or active management by exception, MBE, and finally, laissez-faire, LF, leadership. Our first tale of a transactional leader, number one, is Christy. Christy was a former administrator at our school, at our Christian school, where I'm the school superintendent. She had has her master's in education, and it is in the area of curriculum. She had 8 years as a classroom teacher on our campus. That time I had quite a bit of time to observe her, and as well as Christy was a consultant for us for 1 year on campus, and she helped us interview students, new students coming on campus, also evaluating current students that were having and needing IEPs. She was fantastic, a fantastic consultant and an outstanding leader in that area. Also, she worked for me 4 years as a school administrator. She was very gifted in many ways as a transactional leader. She was a friend and a coworker. Some of the transactional leadership traits for Christy, one were found in contingent reward. Christy was a consistent leader when it came to the carrot. She was a big fan of the carrot, and of course, carrot's part of the carrot and the stick. She was a transactional leader who wanted to move her teachers towards accomplishing her desired goals. As much as she would reward them with verbal praise, additional opportunities, she also wanted to reward them contractionally. Additionally, Christy would have scored heavily in MBE, the stick portion of the carrot and the stick. As much as she was someone who was quick to reward with the carrot, she was even more quick to punish with the stick, and a little bit out of balance there. And finally, Christy had begun to see the effects of decision fatigue, which led to a laissez-faire style of leadership, leaning heavily on that transactional portion. She would avoid difficulties with classroom management, with teachers. It became difficult in different areas where she would begin to avoid. In coaching towards effective outcomes and results, and as a transactional leader, I would encourage Christy to navigate the CR waters better. I think her carrot sometimes seemed to be, of the carrot and the stick, sometimes seemed to be showing favoritism, and the appearance certainly had the appearance of that. So I would have encouraged her to navigate that a little bit better. The second area, number two, was certainly less management by exchange, where she was punitive and quick to point that out. And sometimes you had to do a lot of things to get the carrot, whether it was verbally or getting additional opportunities in leadership, or even contractually. You had to do a lot of carrot before you could get rid of just a few of the MBEs. Outcome number three would be eliminate the avoidance of difficulties and undesirable tasks. And certainly that's hard for all of us. There's things that we don't want to do. But laissez-faire became an area where she struggled in at the end, as I said, particularly with decision fatigue. And a lot of grace was given there, a lot of agape love. We appreciate her. And outcome number four would be add transformational leadership. The fact that she was so heavy transactionally, I think sometimes the other aspects of working together as a team would have helped with some of the fatigue issues and other areas. Our second tale in the tale of two leaderships is that of our transformational leader, our school administrator, who was transformational, and we're calling her Kylie. A fantastic definition of transformational leadership is transformational leadership occurs when leaders broaden and elevate the interests of their employees, when they generate awareness and acceptance of the purpose and mission of the group, and when they stir their employees to look beyond their own self-interest for the good of the group. TFL happens through the 4 I's: idealized influence, inspirational motivation, intellectual stimulation, and individualized consideration. In this tale of our transformational leader, Kylie, she was one of my former school administrators. She had a BS in elementary education. She was a 10-year classroom teacher on our campus under me, 3 years consulting on campus as well. Was fantastic in working with our teachers and also working for intake for students and also EIPs. And she was 9 years as the school administrator. And she was a friend and co-worker. And Kylie was a member of our church, where I'm a lead pastor. As we look at the identifiable traits and behaviors of transformational leadership with Kylie, the first area is that of an idealized influencer, that role model. When you looked at her life and you, as a leader, she was a servant leader who was admired, respected, trusted. In fact, she was someone that the teachers wanted to definitely emulate. She wasn't, I would say, she wasn't necessarily one of those charismatic folks, but she certainly was intellectually, as a teacher, she was great in teaching the teachers themselves. So I think that was part of the influence that she had. Also, ethically and morally, her standards in every way were above board. She did exude agape love and grace with her teachers. The second area of identifiable traits and behaviors was that of inspirational motivation. She inspired through, as I said, through her ability to teach. The third area is intellectual stimulation, the brainstorming, looking at what the teachers needed and where they would go from there, as far as where are you going to look as a teacher? Where are you eating from so that you can generate creativity and innovation? What's happening out there? What are you hearing from other teachers and leaders? And finally, individualized consideration, facilitating the followers' needs. She was definitely on top of the teachers' needs, where they were at, what was going on in their lives, as a phenomenal prayer warrior herself, so somebody who believed in praying for her teachers. So she was all four of these, but there were a few areas that she needed to improve. In consideration of coaching towards effective outcomes and results in transformational leadership with Kylie, my former administrator, I would look at the effective outcome number one, which would be inspirational motivation by providing a clear vision. One of the areas that Kylie was weak is in the area of providing an overall clear vision and motivating the teachers towards that. It was an area that she was pretty forthright about, pretty upfront about with me. It was one of the areas that after 9 years we were working on, and she was doing a much better job with doing that. The second effective outcome would be individualized consideration by facilitating relationally with the followers' growth needed. Kylie was incredible when teachers would come to her, but recognizing it and stepping in and providing it, that individualized growth, both spiritually and as far as a trade craft, teaching trade craft. I think it was one of the weak areas. It also was an area that after 9 years, she had started to really pull forward in. She ended up leaving because her husband got transferred to San Diego. Tough gig if you could take it. So as we have looked at the tale of our two leaders, our two administrative leaders, one transactional and one transformational leadership, I have some final thoughts in conclusion. So in conclusion, you have two uniquely different transactional and transformational leaders. You have two effective servant leaders who certainly, for the one in the beginning, transactionally, was doing very well. Both leaders have had areas in which they needed to improve. One leader was more balanced between transactional and transformational, and certainly both of them could use that great combination. Leader number one would not change, and it led to difficulties. And leader number two changed and thrived in her transformational leadership.